off for this 15-minute race. There's the flag, there's the lights, and out they go. And it's a good start by the Scott Edgar car from the outside of the front row. Not such a good start by Ryan Polly. I think he's lost 1 or 2 places by the looks of things as they head up towards Rich's Corner for the first time in this race. And yeah, it's Scott Edgar then that sweeps through into the lead of the race around Rich's Corner and up towards Wilson for the first time. Someone very late on the brakes there for Wilson is number 17. That is Simon Freeman. He does get around the corner though.
Yeah, he gained a number of positions there, so good move from Simon Freeman. He started 6th. He's now in 4th behind the similarly liveried car of Tom Hall, but it's Scott Edgar and Ryan Polly in 1st and 2nd positions, and Polly already challenging Edgar up the inside for the Brundle left-hander, and Edgar not really putting up much of a defence, to be honest, and Ryan Polly goes through. So that didn't take very long, did it, for Polly to get the lead back as they go into Nelson, and he's got it then from Edgar. 3rd is Hall, 4th is Freeman, and that Josh Larkin, a good start from him up into 5th position. And there's Don de Graaf, who's made up a number of positions already. He's going up the inside there of Oliver Wayne, and Wayne's going off, and he's going to lose a number of places.
Yep, so they're heading around Coram up towards Murray's for the first time. It is Polly then back in front, almost up on 3 wheels as they turn their way through the left-hander at Murray's and back out onto the start and finish straight. They go then, so Polly from Edgar as they come over the line. 3rd then is the 88 car of Tom Hall, isn't it? In 3rd position, as the rest of them make their way through Coram now, through Rich's now and up towards Wilson.
Nick Garner lost out at the start, didn't he? Down to 6th position at the end of lap 1. And Polly, with that rear tyre bouncing through the Wilson hairpin. There's car number 4, Tim Bentley, another driver returning to the series this season. He accelerates down the Bentley straight. Don de Graaf got to 13th, so that was a gain of 9 positions, 10 positions is what he gained there on the opening lap, and he's already going past another, which I think will be David Garside, but Josh Larkin, we mentioned him, good start, 10th to 5th.
Yeah, absolutely right. There we can see Tom Hall, the 30-year-old company director from Milton Keynes, number 88. Started at Proving only a couple of years ago in the Clios. He's only done 7 rounds today. His best finish though was here at Snetterton last year and finished in 7th place. So he's up in 3rd now, so definite improvement from Tom Hall.
Ryan Polly getting away up front, so the qualifying times are translating into race pace for the reigning champion, who accelerates up the centre straight to complete lap 2 as the leader. Scott Edgar in 2nd, Tom Hall 3rd, Simon Freeman 4th, and Josh Larkin in 5th, so same order, but as qualifying would suggest, the battle from 2nd is very tight indeed. There's Don de Graaf going across the line, so he's past David Garside on this lap, I reckon, and we'll be looking, and he's gained another 2, so he's up to 11th position. It's Don de Graaf chasing Stephen Richardson to get inside the top 10. Simon Freeman again late on the brakes on the outside, but behind them Nick Garner's gaining positions up the inside to get 5th away from Josh Larkin.
Yeah, Larkin there in the number 13 car, the deranged trucks liveried Rashid is trying to fight back though on Garner as they head along the Bentley straight towards Brundle and Nelson for the 3rd time. Polly though out in front pulling away here. Edgar's under threat from Hall as well in 2nd place. Hall shows his nose to Edgar but doesn't make anything of it, and he's now got his teammate Simon Freeman right with him as well, hasn't he, as they make their way through Brundle and Nelson and towards Bromhall for the 3rd time in this race. There's Freeman back of his car, then you've got Garner, Larkin, Tim Bentley had a aggressive element coming out of Chapman a few laps ago. 2 teammates getting it together there as the race leader Simon Ryan Polly even a bit sideways.
Yeah, he held on to it and he's extending this margin 2 seconds over 2nd through to 8th really. A long train of Clio 182s being headed still by Scott Edgar, who made that good start, led for half a lap, holding on to P2 as they come up across the line. Nobody really challenging, I don't think, into Ritchie's on this particular lap. So they turn through the fast right hander, with Don de Graaf chasing this group now in ninth position, and Stephen Langton, car number 11, has pulled off and he looked pretty frustrated. So a problem for him is a challenge now from Josh Larkin trying to do to Nick Garner what Garner did to him a lap ago, and he's got it done. So back into that position, fifth from Josh Larkin, ahead of Neil Garner, who lost momentum through that exchange, and Tim Bentley is trying to come up the inside of him now, and Garner trying to squeeze him, but then realised that Bentley was alongside and gave him more room. So this should be Tim Bentley up to sixth from 2 places lost from Nick Garner, but Garner trying to come back, sort of using a side draft down the Bentley straight, and he goes around the outside here. They're still level, but Garner's going to have it if he can get it stopped for Nelson, which he kind of does. Yes, he's got it back again. That was quite impressive.
Yeah, that was a good battle. It was literally mirror to mirror, wasn't it, there at one point down the straight. So that's very much a fight going on.
There's de Graaf at the back of this queue now.
There's the Stephen Langton car that came unstuck at Murray's. Third season of racing for Stephen Langton, but sadly not a sad, happy conclusion to it. To this weekend, the first race of this weekend at least, at Snetterton.
Issue, I think, there for Crispin Williamson, because he's dropped behind Don de Graaf. So Graaf is 8th, I reckon, now, as they come up across the line. So Crispin Williamson, who was on the back of that train, has dropped away fairly significantly, as Tom Hall trying to go for second here to get ahead of Scott Edgar.
Yep, so actually those 3 cars right together, Simon Freeman in there as well. Of course, it was Freeman that left his braking so late here on the opening lap, while Hall's left it quite late here on this lap. And actually, he's not done him any favours because he's gone wide and Freeman's gone through. So Freeman goes through to take, third place away, and now he is the one taking the fight, Scott Edgar, as they make their way down the Bentley straight. So he'll be using all of the quite considerable tow that these Clios give out.
Yeah, that didn't work at all for Tom Hall, did it? It's almost dropped him into the clutches of Josh Larkin. Can Simon Freeman gain 2 places in... Oh, but it's a big moment under braking. Big twitch for Simon Freeman. He caught it fairly well, actually, because he was lucky there not to go grass tracking. He didn't lose actually as much time as he could have done, but trying to brake late, the back end trying to break away from Simon Freeman. In 3rd position now. Continues to chase as Josh Larkin just behind runs out pretty wide as he tries to get the better of Tom Hall. Looks around the outside. Yellow flags have been withdrawn now, and that means challenging can happen into Murray's. And are we going to see a challenge here? No, we're not. So stay in that order that they went into that sequence of corners. And here comes Don de Graaf. He's behind Tim Bentley now. He's in 8th. This has been a good recovery from Don de Graaf as they come up across the line to complete yet another lap.
Yeah, so what are we on to now? We are on, about lap 5 of the race have gone. Pretty much halfway through the race distance in this K-Tec Racing Clio 182 Championship event. And they are up towards Chapman, Wilson and Chapman once again. And there you can see Josh Larkin, he's very much involved. There's Don de Graaf though, he's come through from the back of the grid, up to 8th place now, and he's right behind number 4, Tim Bentley, who started on the 3rd row of the grid, of course. So it's been a good performance this from Don de Graaf. What lap times has he been putting in? He's done a 1:27.35. The best lap of the race for Ryan Polly is a 1:27.17. So he'd be right up there with Polly if things had gone to plan from this morning.
Larkin gets 4th, past Tom Hall into Brundle up the inside. It's best lap from this race, isn't it, that sets the race grid for race 2. So that means de Graaf will be alongside Polly. So that'll be an interesting race at the end of the day. But de Graaf will be looking to gain more positions here. He's behind Tim Bentley as they make their way up to Coram Curve. But Tom Hall, who was there challenging for second only a lap or so ago, dropped down to 5th into Brundle with Josh Larkin going through. So where it was going very well, it started going the opposite direction for him.
It certainly has. It certainly has indeed. So, coming up towards the end of lap 6 of this race, it's probably going to go 11 laps this one, isn't it? I would think 15 minutes around here for these cars. Stream across the line then. Polly leading, Edgar 2nd, Freeman 3rd, Larkin 4th, Hall 5th, Garner in 6th. So 1:21, 17, 30, 13, 88 and 42 for those who make a note of these things. Which as they go. And then onwards up towards Wilson. De Graaf here tries to outbrake Bentley, tries to go around the outside of him. He's got up to this part of the field relatively quickly. Oh, as number 19 goes off, that's Matthew Holton, the plumber, on his return to on his return to racing in the Clios. He's been off at Riches. But yeah, it's now much harder for De Graaf to try and make up places at the rate he was doing earlier on in the race.
Cars stream their way into Brundle. It's Clio's as far as you look down the straight there, wasn't it? Tim Bentley's car looks much plainer than the rest, doesn't it? The plain colours, where everybody else has got a full livery on their car. And he's got De Graaf having a good look at the boot lid at the moment of Bentley's car. He's exactly the same line through up towards Coram. Can De Graaf get a tighter line through here? No, he pops to the outside. It's an awkward place to pass, really, in a one-make category, so unable to get through, trying to concentrate on the exit of the corner for the long acceleration down the centre straight up towards Ritchie's. But it's like these cars are all very equally, and you have to fight quite hard to pass a competitor in the Clios.
Absolutely right. It's really difficult, really closely matched. It's deliberately kept that way. It's a very tightly controlled and regulated formula, so there's no real advantage in the car. It's all down to driver ability, and I think that's what really appeals about it to some people. Right, you've got Larkin and Hall, and it looks like Hall is trying to get back ahead of Larkin, back up into fourth position. He's got his nose ahead on the exit of Chapman, but Larkin, I think, is going to get the better run here down the Bentley straight. So the grey and sort of camo liveried Larkin car is going to have the inside line for Brundle and Nelson. And is he going to be able to squeeze through? Well, he's already done it, hasn't he? So Larkin's gone back to fourth.
Yeah, so that attempt from Tom Hall that started a couple of corners ago hasn't paid off in the end, and that has allowed Nick Garner back closer to them. They're in sixth, and behind, where had Tim Bentley gone? Was that Don De Graaf get him past? We'll check that when we get a longer view of it. Yeah, De Graaf is through now into seventh. He's got past Tim Bentley, so we'll see if he can chase after this battle for fourth. We're watching, we look back at there. Is Don De Graaf ahead now of the red car of Tim Bentley, with Crispin Williamson now up with him too. But out of Murray's, this is the battle for fourth, being headed by car number 13, Josh Larkin.
Over the line goes race leader Ryan Polly. Their second place man Scott Edgar and third place man Simon Freeman. Those look fairly well sorted out at the moment, with 3 minutes and 10 seconds of a race left to go. And then you've got this, you've got Josh Larkin, you've got Tom Hall, you've got Nick Garner, who was a contender for the championship a couple of years or so ago, going into the final meeting pretty much, but as I say, didn't appear, I don't think, at all last season. Good to have him back for this year though, and a very encouraging field, more than 20 cars at the beginning of the season for the K-Tec Racing Clio 182 Championship here at Snetterton. Hall then in fifth place, trying to get back ahead of Josh Larkin. So they go down the Bentley straight, but the first three look pretty well settled now, Josh.
Yeah, slower last lap by Ryan Polly, so just check that wasn't something that's going to be consistent, because he was over a second slower than Scott Edgar behind, but it's just a one-off, that's not a drama for him. He's still 2.5 seconds ahead. There's 13 then, Josh Larkin in fourth position, so good performance this year. It's good to see the improvement from a number of drivers from last season to this year. And Tom Hall is one of those, and he's trying to come up the inside of Larkin, who's sliding wide at Coram. He's trying to hang on to it, he does. He gets the car turned into Murray's, and he's still ahead, and he's got a decent exit too, so brought back nicely. You sort of make a mistake at Coram, because Murray's a hard place to pass. You sort of stop the car on the apex, and you don't lose too much out to your competitor, and that's what he's been able to do. So still in fourth with Larkin, ahead of Tom Hall and Nick Garner as they go on to the 10th lap of the race, which will be the penultimate lap of this opening round of the season. Behind, Don De Graaf not making any inroads towards them, and he's not actually getting away from Bentley or Williamson either.
No, it's very close up there at the Wilson hairpin, isn't it? And there's the scrap just behind as well, with Crispin Williamson at the back of that group in 9th position in car number 5, having switched from one French manufacturer, the Peugeot 206s, to another, the Clios this year. Fancied something a little bit more competitive, so he bought the Clio, and I think he's certainly finding it more competitive, because he's there in the thick of a battle for 7th, 8th and 9th positions at the back of this group, just behind Don De Graaf, who's come through from the back of the grid, and Tim Bentley. Slightly rough passage through Brundle and Nelson there for De Graaf, and he has now got Bentley alongside him through the bomb hole, and he's lost the position, so Don De Graaf back down to 8th place. I think that perhaps was a bit of a sort of semi-grassy moment for Brundle and Nelson. That's allowed Bentley to go back through. De Graaf's going to try and fight back now, though, on the inside. Oh, no, he's not. Thought he was going to get his nose alongside there, but Bentley closed the door in his face. And so for 7th place, it's Tim Bentley from Don De Graaf and Crispin Williamson at the moment, as the leaders have gone across the line and they'll be starting their final lap.
Certainly, De Graaf's car sort of bounces around a lot on its suspension, doesn't it? So De Graaf, after all that improvement, has now lost a place to car number 4, Tim Bentley. Meanwhile, that lead gap has come down again a bit more, but Ryan Polly, I'm sure they're just running the pace he needs to. He's a couple of seconds ahead still. Meanwhile, this battle, can De Graaf re-challenge Tim Bentley? He's also got to watch out for that car of Crispin Williamson, who's in there behind in what is 9th position. So onto the Bentley straight for the final time of this race, with Polly, Edgar and Freeman pretty settled there in the podium positions. Polly pushing on now. See the car moving about under braking into Brundle. Gets it through there and through Nelson safely. And way up on 2 wheels in the background with Simon Freeman. He clobbered the curbs on the inside of the corner. I presume he got out okay. Not unusual, is it, to see a Renault Clio up on 2 wheels?
Not at all. So Polly, looking like this, you've got this one in the bag. He was a winner here at Snetterton at the back end of last season. He shared the wins with James Bark on that occasion. But after having got 7 wins last year, he's going to open his account in 2020 with a victory as well. And it's going to be a reasonably comfortable one by Clio standards, because the checkered flag is out and it goes to Ryan Polly now. And there he goes, winning by a couple of seconds in the end from Scott Edgar in 2nd place. Edgar had Simon Freeman not too far behind him, and then 4th, 5th and 6th right together. And they finished in the order, just checking on the screen, Josh Larkin, Tom Hall and Nick Garner. And then in 7th place was Tim Bentley. Don De Graaf didn't recover from that 8th position. Crispin Williamson 9th, and David Garside, I think, is going to round out the top 10. But it was 2.12 seconds the victory margin in the end for Ryan Polly, and then another 1.2, 1.3 seconds back to Simon Freeman in 3rd place.
Everyone's lap time's dropping off by about a second towards the end of the race. So tyre wear putting the lap times up a bit. Like I say, the race grid for the race this evening is the results of the fastest laps of this race, so therefore Polly and De Graaf will be on the front row of the grid, which will be intriguing to see, because De Graaf obviously had lots of pace in the first part of that race, but then the second half didn't go quite so well, perhaps pushing his tyres, trying to get through the field, and they went off earlier than everybody else's.
Yeah, absolutely right. So they're heading on the slowing down lap now, back into the pit lane at the end of this race. Don't forget the Clios are out again later. They're the final race of the afternoon here at Snetterton, so there's another chance to see them here today. And then their championship calendar beyond this takes them to Brands Hatch next month. It then takes them to Alton Park in September, Mallory Park in October, and they'll conclude their season at Silverstone National in November. So a 5-meeting season rather than the original 7, but still a good number of rounds of the championship for the K-Tec Racing Clio 182 Championship. Just waiting for the leading drivers to get back into the pit lane and down into the clutches of Anthony. Ryan's taken it relatively sedately on this slowing down lap, waving to all the marshals as he goes, no doubt. But he is now heading into pit lane, and he'll be looking to see if he can do the double in the K-Tec Racing 182 Championship a little bit later on today. So just looking to see if Ryan Polly has quite made it down to the podium area. I don't think he has, but nevertheless I can see that Anthony Jordan is ready and waiting. Ryan Polly being signalled into the requisite position in the pit lane, and so I am now going to say we'll hear in a moment from Anthony Jordan with our race winner, Ryan Polly.
Well, down in the pit lane, Ryan, you've just joined us back. You're taking all your helmet off, I'll let you finish. Oh, you made that one look easy from our standard. How was that one?
Yeah, I wish it was easy. I lost the brake pedal halfway through. Brake pedal goes to the floor. So that's quite scary at 120 mile an hour, but no, it wasn't too bad.
Well, I tell you what, if you did have a brake issue there, you really didn't show. You looked very well in control. An absolutely fantastic race. Talk us through what happened at the start. It looked like you were slightly bogged down slightly.
Yeah, starts have never been my strong point. We need to keep working on them.
But like I say, you managed to get it back before the end of the first lap, and you held it for the rest of it. And despite the issue that you had with the brakes, you had a very commanding lead throughout all of that.
Yeah, it's a brilliant way to start the year back.
Yeah, excellent stuff. Well, congratulations. Well done on the first win.
Thank you.